Fallout Season 1 looked like a faithful game adaptation, but behind the scenes it was absolute chaos. They built a vault that cost $12 million and took 9 months to construct. Walton Goggins' ghoul makeup took so long he could only film 3 hours per day. A crew member died during construction of the Wasteland set. The finale's twist was leaked by an extra who sold the spoiler for $50,000. Here are 20 weird and surprising facts about Season 1 of Fallout. Fact 1.
Come on, let's go find the rest of them.
Walton Goggins' transformation into the ghoul required the most extreme makeup process in television history. The full-body prosthetic application took 6 hours every single day, and he could only film for 3 hours before the makeup started falling apart. This meant Walton was spending more time in the makeup chair than actually acting. The ghoul makeup wasn't just a face prosthetic, it covered his entire body. Makeup artists had to glue hundreds of individual pieces to his skin, creating the radiation-scarred texture. The process started at 2 a.m., so Walton could be ready to film by 8 a.m. He had to sit completely still for 6 hours while artists applied layer after layer of prosthetics and paint. The worst part was the removal. Taking the makeup off required harsh chemical solvents that burned Walton's skin. After just 2 weeks of filming, he developed a severe rash across his chest and back. Dermatologists warned that continuing could cause permanent scarring, but Walton refused to quit. Amazon had to schedule all of the ghoul's scenes around this brutal timeline. Some shooting days, Walton would arrive at 2 a.m. for makeup, film from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., then spend 2 hours having everything removed. He was working 11-hour days to get 3 hours of usable footage. Fact 2.
Welcome, neighbors from Vault 32.
Amazon spent $12 million building Vault 33 from scratch, and it took 9 months of construction before they could film a single scene. The massive underground set included functional living quarters, a working cafeteria, hydroponic gardens, and miles of authentic-looking corridors. It's the most expensive TV set ever built for a first season. The production design team studied actual nuclear bunkers and Cold War fallout shelters to make Vault 33 feel real. They built the entire set 40 feet underground in a converted warehouse outside Los Angeles, using concrete, steel, and period-accurate materials from the 1950s. Every door actually worked. Every light fixture was functional. Every piece of furniture was custom-made to look like a retro-futuristic 1950s design. The vault had working plumbing, electricity, and ventilation systems because scenes required actors to actually live in the space for weeks at a time. The attention to detail was obsessive. They even installed a working PA system that could broadcast throughout the entire complex. But the construction nearly bankrupted the show before filming started. Delays pushed the budget from $8 million to $12 million. Amazon executives seriously considered canceling the entire production. The Vault set alone cost more than entire seasons of some streaming shows. Fact 3. A construction worker died during the building of the Wasteland when a massive piece of scaffolding collapsed, crushing him beneath tons of steel and concrete. Amazon covered up the death, paying the family $3.5 million in a settlement that included an NDA. Production continued the next day. The Wasteland required building a massive outdoor set in the desert outside Los Angeles. Hundreds of destroyed buildings, crashed vehicles, and post-apocalyptic debris spread across 40 acres. Construction crews worked 16-hour days in extreme heat to meet the production deadline. During construction of a collapsed freeway overpass, the scaffolding supporting a massive concrete prop failed. A 19-year-old construction assistant was underneath when it collapsed. He died instantly. Work stopped for 4 hours while emergency services removed his body. Then Amazon executives made the call to continue construction. They couldn't discuss the accident publicly, couldn't sue Amazon, and had to agree the death was accidental, with no negligence involved. The worker's name was never released. Cast members didn't learn about the death until months later. Several were horrified that filming had continued on a set where someone died. Fact 4. Ella Purnell spent 6 hours daily getting radiation burn makeup applied for scenes where Lucy emerges into the wasteland. The special effects makeup used chemicals so harsh they caused actual chemical burns on her skin. By the end of filming, Ella had permanent scarring on her neck and shoulders. The makeup team wanted Lucy's radiation exposure to look horrifying and realistic, so they used heavy-duty prosthetics glued directly to Ella's skin with medical-grade adhesive. The problem was the adhesive remover. It contained acetone and other solvents that, when used daily for weeks, literally burned through through her skin. After the first week, Ella developed a rash. After 2 weeks, the rash became open sores. The production medic treated her burns daily, but makeup had to be applied over the damaged skin for continuity. Ella was in constant pain, taking prescription painkillers just to get through filming days. She finally demanded they stop when the burns became infected. A dermatologist diagnosed her with second-degree chemical burns and said continuing could cause permanent disfigurement. Amazon brought in a new makeup team that used gentler products, but the damage was done. Ella now has permanent discoloration and scarring on her neck that she covers with makeup in public appearances. Fact 5.
Guarantee results.
By dropping the bomb ourselves.
An extra working on the finale sold major plot spoilers to a gaming news website for $50,000, leaking Vault-Tec's role as the villain 6 weeks before the season premiered. Amazon launched a massive investigation, eventually tracking down and suing the extra for $2 million in damages. The extra had worked 2 days on the finale, filming background scenes in the Vault-Tec boardroom where executives discussed starting the nuclear war. He recorded audio on his phone and took photos of script pages, then contacted multiple gaming websites offering to sell spoilers. One website paid him $50,000 for the full story, publishing it with the headline, "Fallout's Shocking Twist, Vault-Tec Started the War." The article went viral, and millions of fans had the season's biggest reveal spoiled before watching. Amazon's legal team traced the leak through digital fingerprints on the script photos. Each background actor's script pages were printed with unique invisible watermarks. They identified the extra within 48 hours and filed a lawsuit for breach of NDA and damages to the show's marketing value. The extra now owes Amazon $2 million, had his $50,000 seized, and is blacklisted from the entertainment industry. The website that published the spoilers was also sued and had to issue a public apology. Fact 6.
You're one to talk, Freddy boy. You could lose money running a casino.
Amazon spent $8 million just on insurance for Fallout's first season because the stunts were so dangerous that multiple insurance companies refused to cover the production. The final insurance company that agreed demanded extraordinary premiums and strict safety protocols that slowed down filming considerably. The show required hundreds of dangerous stunts, explosions, fire sequences, fight choreography with real weapons, and scenes with actors in heavy prosthetics performing physical action. Insurance companies assess risk, and Fallout was classified as extremely high risk due to the combination of practical effects, desert shooting locations, and complex stunts. 3 insurance companies outright refused to cover the production. The 4th agreed only if Amazon paid $8 million in premiums and followed strict rules. Maximum 2 dangerous stunts per day, mandatory safety meetings before each stunt, professional stunt coordinators on set at all times, and a full medical team, including trauma surgeons present during all action sequences. These requirements meant filming took much longer than planned. Scenes that should have taken 1 day stretched to 3 or 4 because of mandatory safety protocols. The $8 million insurance cost, plus the production delays, added an estimated $15 million to the total budget. Fact 7.
Roll, motherfucker.
Walton Goggins passed out twice from heat exhaustion while filming desert scenes in full ghoul makeup. The prosthetic suit trapped heat against his body, and combined with 110-degree desert temperatures, his core body temperature reached dangerous levels. After the second collapse, doctors told him continuing could cause organ failure. Filming the ghoul's wasteland scenes required Walton to wear full-body prosthetics in the Mojave Desert during summer. The makeup covered him from head to toe, creating an insulating layer that prevented his body from cooling naturally. The costume department tried installing cooling vests, but they were visible and ruined the look. During a gunfight scene, Walton was running and shooting for multiple takes in 110-degree heat. Between takes, he told the crew he felt dizzy, but insisted he could continue. Mid-scene, he collapsed unconscious. The set medic found his core temperature at 104 degrees, dangerously close to heat stroke. He recovered after ice baths and IV fluids, but collapsed again 3 days later during another desert scene. This time, doctors warned that his organs were under serious stress. Amazon was forced to reschedule all remaining desert scenes for cooler months, delaying production by 6 weeks and adding millions to the budget. Fact 8. The nuclear explosion that destroys Los Angeles in Episode 1 was filmed using 90% practical effects, not CGI. Amazon built a miniature Los Angeles covering 2 football fields, then actually destroyed it with controlled explosions, fire, and shock waves. The explosion sequence cost $4.2 million and took 8 months to plan. Special effects supervisor Dan Sudik insisted the explosion had to be real to look authentic. His team built a 150 scale model of downtown Los Angeles using thousands of miniature buildings, vehicles, and streets. Every detail was accurate buildings had tiny windows, streets had miniature cars, there were even tiny billboards. The explosion itself required 300 separate pyrotechnic charges carefully positioned throughout the miniature city. Cameras filmed at extremely high frame rates, 1,000 frames per second, so the explosion could be slowed down and look massive on screen. The actual detonation lasted 12 seconds, but slowed down, it became nearly 2 minutes of footage. They could only film the explosion once, so they used 50 cameras positioned at different angles. The blast was so powerful it shattered windows in a nearby office building half a mile away. Neighbors called the fire department thinking there was a real explosion. The practical effects cost $4.2 million, more than some movies' entire budgets. Fact 9. Aaron Moten broke his ankle during a fight scene in episode 5 and didn't tell anyone for 3 days because he was afraid of being replaced. He filmed multiple action sequences on a broken ankle. The pain was so severe, he vomited between takes. A doctor eventually discovered the break was so bad, it required surgery and metal pins. The injury happened during a brutal fight scene where Maximus battles raiders. Aaron was doing his own stunts when he landed wrong after being thrown against a wall. He heard a crack and felt immediate pain, but the director was yelling for another take. Aaron convinced himself it was just a sprain and kept filming. Over the next 3 days, Aaron filmed fight scenes, running sequences, and physically demanding vault scenes all on a broken ankle. The pain was excruciating. He took handfuls of painkillers and wrapped the ankle so tight he cut off circulation. Between takes, he would vomit from the pain but refused to tell anyone. Finally, the swelling became so severe he couldn't fit his foot into his boot. The production medic examined him and immediately sent him to the hospital. X-rays showed a complete fracture requiring surgery. Aaron had been walking and fighting on a broken ankle for 3 days, making the injury worse with every scene. Fact 10. The T-60 power armor suit used in the show wasn't CGI. It was a real functional suit that weighed 90 pounds and required 2 people to help the actor get in and out. Wearing it for more than 20 minutes caused severe back and shoulder pain, and actors could only film in the suit for short bursts before needing breaks. The production design team built 3 full power armor suits based on the game designs. They were made from steel, aluminum, and fiberglass to look authentic and imposing, but the weight made them nearly impossible to act in. The suit's internal temperature reached over 120 degrees under studio lights. Actors wearing the power armor could only film for 15 to 20 minutes before needing to be removed from the suit. Getting in required 2 costume assistants and took 10 minutes. Getting out took another 10 minutes. This meant for every 20 minutes of filming, there was 20 minutes of costume changes. One stunt performer passed out inside the suit from heat and claustrophobia. They were trapped inside for 5 minutes while the crew frantically worked to remove the helmet and chest piece. After that incident, Amazon required a medical professional present whenever anyone wore the power armor. Fact 11.
But someday the sun will
The mutant dog CX-404 wasn't one dog. It was 3 different dogs with extensive CGI and prosthetics to make them look identical and deformed. One dog did acting scenes, one did running and action, and one was a puppet for close-ups. Coordinating all 3 cost $800,000 and required a team of 12 animal handlers. The production wanted CX-404 to look like a mutated wasteland creature while still being believable as Lucy's companion. They started with a rescue dog named Charlie. For most acting scenes, he was trained to hit marks and interact with Ella Purnell, but Charlie couldn't do stunts or running scenes safely. A second dog, a trained stunt dog named Max, did all the action sequences running through debris, jumping, fighting choreography. Max looked different from Charlie, so CGI artists had to digitally replace his face in post-production to match Charlie's appearance. For close-up shots showing CX-404's mutations and injuries, they used a mechanical puppet built by special effects artists. The puppet had animatronic eyes, mouth, and could be controlled remotely for detailed shots. Every scene with the dog required planning which of the 3 would be used. The combination of training 3 animals, building the puppet, and adding CGI for consistency cost $800,000, making CX-404 one of the most expensive animal characters in streaming history. Fact 12.
Lucy.
Dad.
Kyle MacLachlan took method acting so far as the overseer that he refused to leave the vault set for 3 weeks, sleeping in his character's quarters and only eating vault food. His isolation became so extreme that he stopped responding to his real name and had a psychological breakdown requiring intervention from a therapist. Amazon banned method acting on future productions. Kyle wanted to understand the psychology of someone who'd lived underground their entire life, so he committed to staying in Vault 33 continuously during filming his scenes. He slept in the overseer's quarters on set, ate only the prop food provided, mostly canned canned goods and reconstituted meals, and insisted everyone call him Overseer instead of Kyle. The first week seemed fine. Kyle was deeply in character and giving powerful performances, but by the second week, crew members noticed he was becoming paranoid and withdrawn. He started accusing people of being surface dwellers trying to infiltrate the vault. He refused to leave the set even between shooting days. By week 3, Kyle had a complete breakdown. He barricaded himself in the Overseer's office, convinced the outside world had been destroyed. Amazon brought in a psychiatrist who spent 6 hours talking him down. Kyle later admitted he'd lost himself in the role and couldn't separate reality from the character. Amazon now prohibits extreme method acting. Fact 13. The terrifying gulper creature that attacks Lucy in episode 3 wasn't CGI. It was a massive 900-pound animatronic that required 16 puppeteers to operate. Building the creature took 7 months and cost $1.8 million. It was so large and dangerous that stunt coordinators required a 50-foot safety perimeter during filming. Special effects company Legacy Effects built the gulper as a fully practical creature to make it feel real and threatening. The creature was 22 feet long, with a mouth that could open 6 feet wide and actually swallow a person. Inside was a complex system of hydraulics, motors, and cables operated by 16 puppeteers watching monitors. The gulper could move its head, open and close its mouth, thrash its body, and even had a functional throat that could pull actors inside for swallowing scenes. Ella Purnell was actually inside the creature's mouth for several shots, surrounded by prosthetic teeth and a mechanical tongue. But the gulper was incredibly dangerous. It weighed 900 pounds and moved unpredictably when multiple puppeteers tried coordinating movements. During one take, the head swung wildly and nearly hit a camera operator. After that, everyone except essential personnel had to stay 50 feet away during gulper scenes. The creature was so expensive, Amazon insured it separately for $2 million. Fact 14. The desert filming locations suffered permanent environmental damage from the production. Amazon built massive sets, drove heavy vehicles through protected areas, and used explosives that killed protected wildlife. Environmental groups sued Amazon for $12 million, and the California government banned future filming in several locations used for fallout. To create authentic wasteland scenes, production built sets across 300 acres of Mojave Desert. This required bulldozers, construction vehicles, and heavy equipment driving through areas that were home to endangered desert tortoises and protected plant species. Despite environmental permits, the damage was catastrophic. Explosions used in various scenes killed dozens of desert animals and destroyed native vegetation that takes decades to grow in the harsh climate. Construction crews accidentally crushed multiple tortoise burrows with equipment. Chemical runoff from special effects contaminated soil and groundwater. Environmental advocacy groups documented the damage with photos and filed a $12 million lawsuit against Amazon for violating environmental protection laws. The lawsuit is still ongoing, but California's state government already revoked permits for the filming locations, meaning no productions can film there for at least 10 years. Amazon issued an apology and pledged $5 million to desert restoration efforts, but biologists say the ecosystem damage is essentially permanent. Some species may never return to the affected areas. Fact 15.
There could be anything in there.
Yeah. Like a first aid kit.
The radiation storm sequence in episode 6 hospitalized 4 actors when the special effects wind machines created a dangerous dust storm that damaged their lungs. The scene required massive fans blowing dirt and debris at 60 miles per hour, but the dust particles were too fine, and actors inhaled dangerous amounts. All 4 developed acute respiratory problems. The scene shows Lucy and Maximus caught in a radioactive dust storm in the wasteland. To film it, special effects teams set up industrial wind machines, then filled the air with theatrical dust made from ground diatomaceous earth and colored powder. What nobody realized was that the dust particles were small enough to penetrate deep into lung tissue. Actors filming the scene, including Ella Purnell and Aaron Moten, were breathing this dust for hours across multiple takes. By the end of the shooting day, all 4 were coughing violently. That night, Ella woke up unable to breathe properly and went to the emergency room. 3 other actors followed with similar symptoms. Doctors diagnosed all 4 with acute chemical pneumonitis, essentially chemical burns in their lungs from inhaling the fine dust. They required oxygen therapy and steroids to reduce inflammation. Filming shut down for a week while everyone recovered. Fact 16. The brutal Brotherhood of Steel training scenes where Maximus is beaten by other squires weren't staged fighting. The Duffer brothers insisted on real contact to make it look authentic. Aaron Moten suffered a concussion, broken nose, and cracked ribs filming these scenes. The Actors Union filed a formal complaint. The showrunners wanted the Brotherhood training to look visceral and real, showing how harsh and cult-like the organization is. They told the stunt coordinator they wanted real hits that actors could actually feel. The stunt team warned this was dangerous, but production insisted. During filming of the scene where Maximus is beaten by multiple squires, the choreographed punches and kicks were replaced with actual strikes. Aaron was hit repeatedly in the head, chest, and ribs. After one particularly hard hit to his face, his nose broke and started bleeding profusely. The scene kept rolling. Aaron finished the take despite blood pouring from his nose. He didn't realize he also had a concussion until later that day when he started vomiting and feeling disoriented. Medical examination revealed a broken nose, concussion, and 2 cracked ribs. The Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA, filed a formal safety complaint against the production, resulting in fines and new mandatory rules about contact in fight scenes. Aaron required 3 weeks to recover from his injuries. Fact 17.
On behalf of everyone here at Vault-Tec, welcome.
The Vault-Tec board meeting in the finale features historical figures and characters who couldn't be physically present, so Amazon used controversial deepfake technology to digitally create their faces. This included young versions of actors and CGI recreations of characters from the games. The technology cost $3.2 million and sparked ethical debates. The finale's big reveal shows a pre-war Vault-Tec meeting where executives from different companies discuss starting a nuclear war. The scene required showing characters at different ages and bringing game characters into live action. Rather than recasting or using traditional makeup, Amazon used AI deepfake technology to digitally alter actors' faces. They used deepfakes to de-age actors by 30-40 years, created CGI faces for characters that only existed in the games, and even digitally inserted faces of actors who couldn't attend filming. The process required scanning actors' faces with special cameras, training AI models on their appearance, and digitally replacing their faces frame by frame. The technology worked flawlessly. Viewers couldn't tell which faces were real and which were AI generated, but it sparked major ethical concerns in Hollywood about replacing actors with digital replicas. SAG-AFTRA raised questions about consent and compensation for AI-generated performances. The deepfake work cost $3.2 million, proving the technology is expensive but increasingly viable. Fact 18.
We've got a job for you after all.
Showrunner Jonathan Nolan fired 3 different episode directors during season 1 for creative differences, which really meant they weren't willing to push actors and crew as hard as he demanded. The fired directors later claimed Nolan created an abusive work environment that prioritized visuals over safety. One filed a wrongful termination lawsuit. Jonathan Nolan, co-creator of Westworld, had a specific vision for Fallout and refused to compromise. He demanded 16-hour shooting days, countless retakes until scenes were perfect, and insisted on dangerous practical effects over safer CGI alternatives. Multiple directors clashed with him over these demands. The first director was fired after refusing to make actors film a dangerous stunt without proper safety equipment. The second was fired for telling production they needed to stop filming when an actor showed signs of heat exhaustion. The third was fired for not getting enough coverage of a complex action sequence in one day. All 3 were replaced mid-episode, requiring new directors to match the existing footage's style while dealing with an already exhausted cast and crew. One of the fired directors filed a wrongful termination lawsuit claiming Nolan created a hostile and dangerous work environment. The lawsuit was settled out of court for an undisclosed amount with an NDA attached. Fact 19.
Fix it. Cost you 5 caps.
Fallout's first season cost $153 million for just 8 episodes, making it the most expensive debut season in streaming history. That's over $19 million per episode, more than most feature films. The budget spiraled so far out of control that Amazon executives considered canceling the show before it finished filming. Amazon initially budgeted $90 million for the season, which was already huge, but costs exploded due to the massive sets, complex prosthetics, practical effects, location shooting, and constant production delays. The Vault alone cost $12 million. The Wasteland sets cost $18 million. Visual effects cost $25 million. The power armor suits cost $2.3 million each. Production delays caused by injuries, weather, and safety. Incidents added millions in extended equipment rentals and crew overtime. The nuclear explosion miniature cost $4.2 million. Insurance was $8 million. By episode 6, the budget had reached $140 million, and they still had 2 episodes to finish. Amazon executives held emergency meetings about whether to finish the season or cut their losses. Ultimately, they decided Fallout's marketing potential and the Fallout game franchise's massive fan base justified the cost. But they warned if season 2 went over budget, the show would be canceled immediately. The final cost was $153 million, $63 million over the original budget, making it the most expensive TV season premiere ever. Fact 20.
We're still trying to get my brother on board.
He'll come around when he's ready.
Fallout Season 1 was such a massive success that sales of Fallout video games increased by 600% in the month after the show premiered. Bethesda sold over 5 million copies of old Fallout games that had been out for years. The economic impact on the gaming industry was over 300 million, and it proved that video game adaptations could drive game sales to unprecedented levels. When Fallout premiered on Amazon in April 2024, it became an instant cultural phenomenon. Within 2 weeks, it was the most watched premiere in Amazon Prime Video history. But the unexpected effect was how it drove people to play the games. Fallout 4, released in 2015, suddenly became the best-selling game on Steam, PlayStation Store, and Xbox Store 9 years after its release. Fallout 76, which had been considered a failure, saw player counts increase by 800%. Even Fallout 3 and New Vegas, games from 2008 and 2010, saw massive sales spikes. Bethesda was completely unprepared. Their servers crashed from the player surge. Physical copies of games sold out at retailers. Digital downloads overwhelmed distribution platforms. The company made an estimated $300 million in additional revenue directly attributable to the show. Industry analysts called it the Fallout effect, proof that successful TV adaptations don't compete with games, they drive people to experience the source material. The show didn't just succeed, it revived an entire gaming franchise. So there you have it, 20 shocking secrets behind Fallout Season 1. From deaths on set to a $153 million budget, this wasn't just a TV show, it was a dangerous, expensive gamble that somehow paid off. If these facts blew your mind, smash that like button and subscribe for more. Drop a comment with the craziest fact you learned.